The deadly scene. Lydia had not been to her home village since the day her parents hurriedly packed up and left for town with her, despite the middle of the school year. 5 years had passed since then, and Lydia had never chosen a day to visit her grandparents on her mother's side of the family. And here she is, but for a sorrowful reason. Today was her grandfather's funeral. Upon returning home, the girl was determined to stay a few more days with her grandmother to support her and help her come to terms with the loss of her husband. At night, Lydia had a strange dream. She dreamed that she was walking along a sun-drenched country road, and a beautiful brunette girl, wearing a long white dress with a ridiculous out-of-weather wolf scarf wrapped around her neck, was walking towards her. This girl comes up to her and says, "Let's be friends. My name is Varvara." And Lida happily replied, "Come on." And then they go together by the hand, as if with the beloved friend. "And let's go to my place. I'll show you where I live," the stranger suddenly suggested. Lida didn't mind and followed her new friend. The farther they got from home, the more fear crept into Lydia's soul. The funeral procession to the cemetery followed this road. "But why is Varya taking me to the cemetery?" thought Lida nervously. In this part of the cemetery the girl had never been. They came to the grave, which was covered with fresh flowers. From the photo on the monument, smiling Varvara looked at Lida. The girl was very beautiful. Her long black braid was thrown over her shoulder. The years of her life were carved on the marble. Lida calculated in her mind that her beauty had died at the age of 26. But what was the cause of death? Suddenly, Lida shuddered and turned around. There was not a soul around. The girl jumped up in bed in a cold sweat, and for the first minutes of her awakening, she had no idea where she was. Realizing that it was only a bad dream, Lida calmed down and fell asleep again. In the morning, she went with her grandmother and her closest relatives to her grandfather's funeral. Lida was curious if there was such a grave that she had dreamed about in her dream. Without telling anyone, the girl sneaked out and went in search of the very same grave. What was her surprise when she found Varvara's grave exactly as in the dream. After standing near the fence for a while, Lida decided to go back to her family before they missed her. That night was a nightmare. Lida again dreamed about the girl in a crumpled white dress. She laughed and asked, "Did you know that the word pagost comes from the word pagasti? Shall we go? Will you come and stay with me? And if you want, you can stay with me forever." Lida shook her head. She didn't want to go anywhere. "Wait!" shouted Varya. "I'll show you something important." Her new friend unwrapped the scarf. Under it there was a dark purple band around her neck. Titling her head back, the girl laughed early. Lida never fell asleep again. She was afraid she was going to have another nightmare. At breakfast, Lida decided to ask her grandmother about the girl in the dream to see if she knew anything. As soon as Grandma Vera heard Varvara's name, she turned sharply pale and even dropped her mug of tea. Hot splashes flew in all directions, but the grandmother did not notice how a few drops fell on her food, so she was depressed by my question. My granddaughter had to persuade her for a long time to tell me about that girl. She understood that Grandmother Vera knew a lot, but she didn't understand why she did not tell anything to me. Then, after listening to the story, Lida understood why her grandmother didn't want to tell her granddaughter the story and wanted to keep it a secret. It turns out that 5 years ago her parents had left for a reason. There was a reason. Her father, Wesley, walked out on her mother. He has never been known for his fidelity, but this time his infidelity crossed all boundaries. Not saying that he was married and has a daughter, he hooked up with the daughter of few neighbors who came from a neighborhood village, bought a house here. The girl's name was Varvara, but an unforeseen thing happened. The girl became pregnant. To conceal this fact, Vasily forced the girl to have an abortion, as he persuaded her to, but she did it. But a cat in a bag is not hidden, and so the gossip in the village quickly spread. Varya could not live with such a scene, nights crying into her pillow, looking sad with her eyes at other people's children. And one summer day in June, she was found hanged in the barn. Her father was so furious that he was ready to kill the culprit himself, Lida's mean father. That is why Lida's parents left in a hurry, but her mother could never forgive him, took her daughter and lived in a dormitory away from work. After a year, Vasily drank, did not come to his daughter. He was seen somewhere with the homeless on the outskirts of town. There they sell scarf metal. Upon learning that Varya had been dreaming about her granddaughter 2 nights in a row, her grandmother advised her to go home to the city. Already sitting in the train, Lida thought about why she dreamed about the girl who had deceived her father. What did she want to say? It turns out that her father had more than 2 souls, but she never dreamed of her again. Hey guys, if you like the story, leave a like in comment section and I'll appreciate it. So I'll come back with some new interesting stories for you later.